Welcome to... Oh, wait a minute, what? If I move this, hold on, sorry. Welcome to... Yep, thought so. Oop. No, never mind. So, welcome to... Oh, wow, why is it running so low? There we go, we're good. Welcome to a Warframe tier list. Again, admittedly, it's again. But this one is for noobs. This one's going to be for Duviri, because for those of you who do not know, in Duviri, you will be able to play Warframes that you do not own. This is what makes Duviri a little different. It'll let noobs play Warframes they've never played before. So I would like to give them a little heads up as, hey, here's where this Warframe lies, here's where this Warframe lies, so on and so forth. Right? Because I feel like that's probably the smartest thing to do, is tell, you know, people where their Warframes, who they want to play really lies, because I don't want noobs coming into this game like, oh wow, I really want to play so-and-so, but they don't really know how to play it, or they don't really know where they stand, because some of us, not me, clearly, as you can tell by me playing Ureli, care about what other people say. So I want to guide people towards the road of playing whoever the hell they enjoy. You know? What's the point in playing a game if you can't just play it for enjoyment? And with that being said, a Warframe that I have played on console is who we start off with. Ash. So, Ash isn't a bad Warframe. He doesn't excel at much either. One, that should totally be his little blade, his little wrist blade, his Baraka blade, as I'll call it. One, clipping is really weird on that. Two, should just be an exalted weapon. I think that would be cool. It's not. In fact, I don't actually know if that's even... Kind of just looks like an extended kunai, to be honest. Ash is a Warframe. He is not bad. His shuriken's good at stripping armor. His smoke screen is just invisibility. It's not a very good invisibility. Loki's is better, but it's an invisibility, that's for sure. Teleport in front of a Warframe, or in front of an enemy. Not the smartest ability, especially in higher difficulties. You'll teleport in front of them, and if you're not invisible, they will kind of just shoot you. And there's still a chance that they'll just, shoot you when you teleport, because they'll be mid-shot. Not the best. Blade Storm used to be amazing. Now it's a lot more mediocre. It's no longer as overpowered as it used to be honest. And with that, I've really just gotta say, like, Ash himself, he's not F or D tier. He can't be F or D tier. He's average, but he's also below average. So honestly, I gotta put him in C. He's gotta be C tier. Also, we also have everyone till Citrine this time. Last time we didn't have up to, like, I think it stopped at Wukong. And there was just missing Warframes everywhere, and I'm like, what the fuck? This time we have 2 Citrine, which is good. So, Atlas. Oh god, Atlas. Oh god, Atlas. I wonder, hold on, I gotta figure this out. Because I really gotta figure how to do this better. Because, oh, whatever. I'll figure it out later. Atlas. Stone Daddy. I'm building him right now, actually. He should be done, if I remember correctly. Yes. Yes. Anyways. Oh my fucking lord. I'm gonna have to mute Alex for a second. So, Atlas. Stone Daddy in a nutshell. Is Landslide is Big Punch. You get Tectonics in there. Tectonics is mid. Rumblers are mid, but so is everything that's determined by AI in this game. Petrify make Landslide go boom. Bigger boom, at least. Passive, actually kind of cool. The passive's cool. But again, he doesn't really excel at much. Like, he's got good crowd control, and if you do Petrify and then Landslide, wonderful damage. Really good damage, actually. But again, Atlas doesn't quite excel at anything. But I'd say that he's better than Ashe, solely because he can one-hit anything. Ashe is good at armor stripping, but if you're a new player, you're going to be more reliant on your Warframe abilities. And if you're more relying on your Warframe abilities, I'm going to argue towards Atlas being better than Ashe, because this isn't made for, like, experienced players, because let's be honest here, if you're an experienced player, you can play any of these guys and get good with them and just vibe. But I'm not here for you, newbie, or I'm not here for that. I'm here for the noobs, to help them do their stuff. So, what, Banshee's next? Oh, man. Banshee's next. Honestly, I didn't really enjoy Banshee very much when I played her. Right? She's got, like, one good ability. Well, two good abilities, sorry. Sonar's just a little iffy at times. So if you spam Sonar multiple times, everything becomes a crit spot, right? So it makes it to where you can deal more damage than before. And especially if it doubles up and it's like a crit spot on top of the head, that's even more damage, because if I remember correctly, they stack. Silence is pretty good. It's definitely not the best ability, but it's pretty decent. Sorry, Alex, I had to mute you because your ringer was going off.
No problem.
But Banshee is the epitome of just not as good as she needs to be. Right? She's not as good as she could be. I personally would put her in C tier, because there's better, there's worse. And there are going to be barely any Warframes in D and F tier. Right? Because I'm running this off of a little bit of, you know, my own thoughts, as it should be. But at the same chase, I'm going off of logic here. And if I've never played a Warframe, Baruch, I kind of just look at his kit and I'm like, okay, well, that should be fun. And Baruch is a character that I can't really speak on very much because, again, I have never played him. However, Serene Storm is very powerful because it's an arc gun. His passive is weird. The restraint thing is just weird. But that's how you build up your Serene Storm. You can get Elude to 360 degrees, which I think is fucking hilarious. Ah, yes, dodge incoming projectiles, but only while not attacking. Ah, yes. I'm not attacking, just nothing hits you. I find it very entertaining. Lull forces people to fall asleep, which is a good crowd control. Desolate Hands is a little mid. The daggers are a little mid, alright? How do I know? Because it gets brought to teammates as well. Kind of mid. Didn't really like it. Didn't do much. However, with that being said, I would have to give Baruch a solid A tier. To be honest, he's not a good he's not like the best Warframe, but man is he good. Another Warframe I've never played. I just never cared to get Caliban. He's got a passive damage resistance though, so I mean, like, that's cool. He gets C tier just for his passive. Razor Gyre, if I remember correctly. I'm going off of what my buddies have been saying as well, because I've got a buddy who's played everything in this fucking game. If I remember correctly, Razor Geyer's one of the actually, if I remember correctly, all of these are pretty replaceable. Fusion Strikes is really good ability. This is just body doubles that'll take the hits for you. Sentient Wrath, if I remember correctly, is just, yeah, they have damage vulnerability, which is good. So Razor Geyer's the one that you get rid of, because it's kind of just a weaker version of Revenant's Dance Macabre. But Caliban, he's, god damn it, of course I kept that up. I've got to figure out a hotkey system. Here, hold on. Capture cursor limit. Foreground window, capture specific window. Damn. That'll be annoying. I don't know how to work that. I'll figure it out later. Anywho. Geyer's not... Geyer. What the fuck am I saying? Caliban, sorry. Isn't a bad Warframe per se. Certainly not the strongest Warframe in the game. I'm gonna have to put him in C tier as well. And I already know where Chroma's gonna land, and it's gonna be D tier. And let me get to that. Chroma. Fucking Chroma. How the mighty have fallen. Spectral Scream is probably one of the weakest abilities in the game. I cannot describe to you how lame it is. His passive's cool. His passive makes it to where his abilities scale off of energy color. Sorry, gotta get the yawns out. And he also has a triple jump. His 2 is either more health, more shield, holster damage, which is stupid to me, or more armor, which is cool, but not that good. Vex armor, you take shield damage, you get more armor, if I remember correctly. You take health damage, weapon damage increases. But here's the problem, when you're playing Steel Path, you're going to be taking that shield and health armor, and you just won't be able to survive through it. So then that's useless. The Effigy's cool. You increase your speed, but you lose 50% of your armor. Don't know why the hell you get extra credits. That's weird. That's actually really weird. Why? What does molting or turning my pelt into a massive sentry have to do with credit multiplier? Whatever. He's not as good as he used to be. Now, if you're gonna go do Eidolons, right? He's still not as good as he used to be, because you can just solo it now. Like, you can pop in there with any Warframe and do a Tridolon cap easy. I've done it with Ureli. It's actually kind of enjoyable. I did it again. Oops, I did it again. I just don't like Chroma. He used to be cool. He looks cool. He looks badass. But he's C tier. He is a weak Warframe. He is nowhere near as powerful as he used to be. Therefore, he gets D tier. And then we have... Yes. He is not as powerful as he used to be. And then you have Lore, which we're not going to read through. Ember. Now, everyone says Ember's super weak, because they can't just pop a single fucking ability and then go run around the goddamn map killing all the level 20s and knocking people on their asses. Well, let me counter that with, now we have Immolation, we have Fireball, and the Inferno's kind of fucking cool. And also her passive is way better. Receive 5% ability strength for every enemy within 50 meters engulfed with flame. Here's the fun part about that. Doesn't have a cap on it. If you have 100 enemies around you, then that's 500% ability strength. Really fucking cool. It is... Ember is one of those Warframes where she's underrated. By far. Because people think she should be in D and C tier, right? because, oh, she got nerfed. Oh, whatever. And then, people who look at her and just like didn't get to see her get nerfed in quotations, would say she floats around B or C tier. I'm gonna go and say that she's A tier. Just because of how fucking powerful and how enjoyable she is. She's not weak. You're just mad that you can't go around with her 4 shooting things and blowing things up. Sorry, lad. Sucks to suck. Who's our next Warframe? Equinox. Thick thighs save lives. S tier. Anyways. Ow. She's got 2 forms. Metamorphosis. She has a day and a night form. Passive 10% of health, or she has like a 10% equilibrium. Everything's converted to the other one. It's actually pretty cool. I quite enjoy it. Rest and Rage. Pacify, Provoke. Mend and Maim. Night form, targets are put to sleep. Day form, targets become more vulnerable to damage. Night form reduces damage inflicted, and day increases ability strength. Mend and Maim in night form, allies' shields are replenished for each nearby enemy killed. In day form, enemies are inflicted with a bleed stat effect. Deactivate while in night form to restore health and shields, and deactivate while in day form to cast a wave of slashing force, which increases with kills. Equinox is a very complex Warframe because she essentially has 6 abilities. I think actually 8. 8 abilities because you gain bonus shields and armor in night form, and bonus damage and speed in day form when you switch into them. For Equinox, she is by far a very, very, very powerful Warframe. However, now that I'm looking at it, I think in the videos, Equinox is not using the stock helmet. This is correct. That is the Citrine helmet. That is not the stock helmet game. What is wrong with you? That is the... Oh, man. Hold on. Now I gotta find it because of my own stupidity. My ADHD, if you want to call it that. That is the Equinox Clisthurt helm. Yeah. They don't even use the stock helmet in the trailers because the stock helmet for Equinox kind of looks stupid. Anyways, Equinox. Where would I place her? Easily S tier. Easily S tier. Because she can do support and damage, and she does them both exceedingly well. Oh man. Oh no. You guys see that next Warframe? We're doing Umbra. We're just gonna do Umbra. We're not even gonna look at normal Excalibur. We are basing this off of Umbra. Excalibur Umbra. Easily F tier. Anyways, let's move on. Anyways. Now, I'm not going to be that asshole. You know who you are. You will never probably see this video, but you know who you are. He is the definition of mediocrity. He doesn't excel at anything, but he's not terrible at anything. He's got a cool passive, because we're going off of Excalibur Umbra, so he exhibits sentience in combat without transference control. Slash dash, slash forward, attack with an energy sword. Radial Howl blinds a bunch of people, gets rid of sentience resistances, which is no longer as powerful as it was. Radial Javelin, it's an AoE, fails nearby enemies, inflicting bleed. Exalted Blade, pull out sword, spam E. I mean, like, he doesn't do anything special. He is so beginner friendly. I cannot hate him, but I do. He easily gets B tier. This Warframe I'm a little more excited about. Frost. I love Frost. I am not going to overrank him though, however. If we were going purely off of my emotion, he gets S tier easily. His passive sucks. It is one of the worst passives in the game. I hate his passive. I never use his passive. His 1 kind of sucks. His 2 kind of sucks. His 3 and 4 are amazing, though. So you just replace his 1 with a different ability. I replaced it with Nourish. Ice Wave is good against low-level nuking. Snow Globe is good for defense. Avalanche strips armor, so it's amazing for damage. Freeze is, like, Oh my god, freeze is terrible. It pops your snow globes. It pops your snow globes. If you throw freeze at your snow globe, it pops it. I like that. That body went flying. So, I can't give Frost S tier because one of his abilities are useless. One of his abilities are weak. One of his abilities are super situational, and one of his abilities are super powerful if you build it right. So you really need to subsume something onto Frost. So, as much as I would like to throw him an S tier, I will not. Because I know he's not. However, I will throw him an A tier. Because I believe he deserves it. Because he's underrated, and I love him. Just wait. We're gonna get to controversial territory eventually. We'll get there. We'll touch that stick when we need to touch that stick. Alright? Change background color? Can I please change that? Oh, man. That's what I meant. Lame. Stupid. Actually, that looks nice. When it said background color, I thought it'd be like the background. So, no, because he still has a useless ability. One of his abilities will be useless in most scenarios. So he can't get S tier. Who's next? Gara. Oh, I'm gonna piss off some people here. You know what, we'll use the prime versions of Warframes if there's primes. Gara. Chance to create a radio blind when exposed to bright light, which... define bright light, please? What? That is an interesting passive. Define bright light, that's all I gotta say. Shattered Lash. I'm not going to be rating this character S tier. I will tell you that right now, solely because she's very dependent on that Shattered Lash's damage for a stat stick. Splinter Storm. Armor splinters into Maelstrom of Shattered Glass. Allies who contact the cloud are fortified against damage. Fantastic defense ability. Works wonders on teammates and... Wow, that's not even stock Banshee either. Works wonders on teammates. Works wonders on the defense point. Spectrophage. Trap enemies. Forcing them to do attack missions and their themselves. Destroyed mirrors. Damage their attackers. Just damages. And the Massive Vitrify, we've all seen it. It's the, yes, this is what makes Gara a better defense character than Frost. Because she can lock enemies out. No. The answer is no. Gara is not a better version of Frost. Gara does things differently from Frost, making her vastly different in the scenarios that she is used in. Frost has armor strip. Gara does not. Splinter Storm is a wonderful defense ability. And I mean a wonderful defense ability. Like, fantastic S tier ability. But it's not Frost. She is the epitome of defense because every single one of her abilities are defense-based except for Shattered Lash. That is the only ability in her kit that I would argue is not defense-based. Okay? It's not. So where would I sit Gara at? With Frost. Yeah, I just made the argument that Frost and Gara are on par with each other. Never said that no emotion is involved here. I'm just saying I can back everything up with reason. And I plan on backing everything up with reason. And with that being said, Garuda gets B tier. Let me explain myself. Some of these characters, I know exactly where they lie. So, one, Garuda's a very weird character to play. I don't like Gara, Shades. Like, that, sure. She may be S tier. No, she's definitely not S tier. Because S tier is, you don't have to care about anything. But, like, God, I don't enjoy Gara. Garuda takes a little effort. But again, she's not really that good of a Warframe. Of course, you can one-hit everything in the game with the Dread Mirror if you can stack it up well enough, which is really fun to do. Getting like stupid high stacks of Dread Mirror, throwing the ball of blood, and then just everything in the general vicinity dies. Garuda's damage temporarily increases with each enemy she kills to a maximum of 100%. Slashes with her talent if no melee weapon is equipped. Pretty neat, honestly. Blood Altar, good healing ability. Need to still get normal Garuda to get this because I really want Blood Altar. Bloodletting, honestly, it's just, I enjoy it. It makes sense. Sacrifice health for energy. Boom, makes sense. And then Seeking Talents is actually kind of weak, as weird as it sounds. You become invincible when you use it, but then you stop using it, and then you're not invincible anymore, and then it's scary again. It's just not that good of an ability, to be honest. And that's why she gets B tier, is because she's fun, sure, but like, I did it again. Why? I know why I keep on. Okay, we need to just keep a method here. She's good. She's just not God tier, right? Like, she's fun, but she's not powerful. And that brings us to our main man. Where the fuck is he? Gauss. What can I say about this man that has not been already said? He is Sonic. He is Zoomy. He goes Zoomy. He's got Mach Rush. He goes Zoomy. He's faster than the K-Drive. I learned that the fun way. His red line is amazing. Thermal Sunder is God tier. Kinetic Plating is just damage reduction, and Mach Rush just makes you go fast. It's just fun. Like, Gauss is a very, very, very powerful Warframe, if you can play him right. Which is hard to do, because he's a very complex Warframe because of the red line, and then you have to stabilize the heat and the fucking all that shit. He's a good Warframe. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he's quite S tier. He's... No. I'm gonna put him in S tier. I'm gonna put him in S tier. I genuinely believe he deserves S tier because he is that powerful. I fought it for a little bit, but no, he's S tier. And then we get to our latest reworked Warframe. Oh god. The Meatball. Each enemy consumed grants 250 bonus armor. You can hold up to 5 people. It's just one use of it, and then they stay in your belly and they slowly lose HP. Nourish is overpowered as all hell. Regenerate HP as Grendel observes nourishment from enemies in his gut while he digests. Enemies that attack or are attacked by Grendel suffer viral damage, and energy sources provide more energy. These buffs extend to squad mates. Fantastic ability. Hydroid isn't going to get the tier that you think he's going to get. That's all I am going to say. Pulverize, you become a meatball, and then you just kind of roll around. I mean, it's not a good ability, but it's fun. Regurgitate does viral damage as well, and it strips armor. So it's actually a really good ability now. And I cannot describe to you where this man sits. I played him when he first got reworked. He is getting the highest S tier. He just might be the strongest Warframe in the game now. Because Christ almighty, he is strong. If you've never played Grendel post rework, do it. Enjoy that shit. He is so fucking good. It is ridiculous how powerful he is. And the next Warframe, I've also got some extended time in. Geyer. What the fuck's that melee weapon? Holy shit, I kind of want it. Anyways, Geyer's crit Volt. She's a crit version of Volt. Alex can attest to that. She is just critical hits, electricity, kill. She's also very hard to play. Arc Sphere is pretty cool. It's a little AoE electric thing. It kind of just sits there and does damage. Nothing too special about it. Most of the ones aren't very special. Coil Horizon, it's an AoE, sucks enemies in. and explodes is good stuff. Cathode Grace. Gain a brief burst of increased critical chance and energy drain with each kill extending the duration of Cathode Grace. Casting is on a cooldown instead of normal. That cooldown does in fact work with everything else. And that crit chance, if I remember correctly, does increase with ability Strength. Cathode Grace is amazing. And when you mix it with Rotor Swell, Gaia's mechanism spin at incredible speeds, generating an electric field that shocks nearby enemies. When Gaia gets a critical hit, a large electrical discharge will a large electrical discharge will chain from the enemy that was hit to nearby enemies. Fantastic AoE, fantastic crowd control. There's only one problem. No armor strip, and no defense. She gets A tier easily, though. Solely because she does that much fucking damage. She is so powerful. She is just so fucking squishy. It's terrible. You know what? I said I was going to use the Prime versions. Even if I don't own the Prime versions, I'm working on it, I swear. God, though, Harrow Prime looks so good. Harrow Prime. Passive overshield capacity doubled. Start mission at maximum energy. Pretty cool, actually. Pretty basic, but pretty cool. Condemn. Cast a wave energy that chains them. Each enemy held reinforces Harrow shields, giving more overshield, and it's also crowd control. Pretty dope. Penance. Sacrifice shields to boost reload speed and fire rate. You want to have the max amount of shields so you get the max amount of bonus. Also, you heal. It's pretty dope, actually. Thurible, channel energy into the Thurible to generate a buff once finished. When you get kills, you get more energy. Headshots give you even more energy. It's quite awesome, actually. I really like Thurible. And then Covenant. Well, he's also a support friend. Covenant, you take damage, it increases crit. That's the simplest way I can put it. Increases your crit. He's a pretty basic support frame. He's actually going to get B tier. And here's why. Harrow's depends heavily on his teammates. And if your teammates are like me, and just kill to kill, you know, let's say I play Frost, or, you know, it'll be surprised to the next Warframe that I kill a lot of people with his. If I play Frost, and I pop my 4, freeze everything in a general vicinity, and then proceed to kill everything with my Boar Prime, Harrow doesn't get any bonuses, because I am doing a good job crowd controlling, so no damage is done to us, meaning 0 crit chance bonus. Of course, his Thurible is still wonderful for that energy, and his 2 is amazing as well, and so is his crowd control. However, relies heavily on teammates. A little bit of an issue. Ah, yeah, Nami Mommy Prime, that's right. I really don't like Hildren, honestly. I've played her a lot, because, like, when she was a new Warframe, it was around Christmas, and somebody's just like, hey, anybody want the new Warframe? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'll take Hildren. And he's just like, I got you, and he fucking sent me Hildren. It was wild. She has 0 energy, but she has a shitload of shields, and that's what her abilities are based off of, is shields. Her shields cap out at like 3,000. Like, she gets a shitload of shields. She's not a bad Warframe. It's been ages since I played her. You can pillage shields from other enemies, remove status effects. Haven creates a shield aura around enemies, around allies. Enemies that approach shield allies take damage, so it's like a little AoE. Aegis Storm, take the skies. And also energy orbs. Doesn't help us. She's actually a support frame. That's why she's Helicopter Mommy. And honestly, with Hildren, I'm gonna have to go with B tier again. Because honestly, Hildren's just kind of mediocre. She's not good, she's not bad. She's good support, but she could be better. Which I think is really what B tier is good, but could be better. While A tier is like, okay, these guys are really good, but they're not the best. And then S tier is literally just, yeah, no, press a button and win. Congrats. You pressed a button and you won. Hydroid. Oh man, Tentacle Boy. Where's Tentacle Prime? There's Tentacle Prime. Hydroid is not getting A tier. Hydroid is also not getting D tier. Hydroid is also not getting C tier or S tier. He's getting B tier. Which sounds probably mad insane to most of you. And it is only because he has Tentacle Swarm. He is very good for loot. He is great for loot, even. And I cannot say anything wrong about him and his loot capabilities. Oh no, get rid of Tempest Barrage. God, why do we like so much? Get rid of Tentacle Barrage, or get rid of Undertow, or get rid of Tidal Surge. Honestly, I would keep Tidal Surge because you move fast. So get rid of Tempest Barrage or Undertow, and just subsume something else into there. Tentacle Swarm's great for loot, great for crowd control. I cannot put him in D tier because he's not D tier. I can't put him in A tier because he's not A tier. And I can't put him in C tier because, in my opinion, he's better than Banshee Ash and Caliban because at least he can get loot. Oh, man. Let's rip this Band-Aid off. God, I'm gonna have to back this one up. Fucking Aros. Let's get into an Aros. An Aros has 4 abilities. This blinds people, which is pretty cool, but, you know, doesn't really have much range. And it lasts for 3 seconds. It is a 3-second blind base, and then you have a little bit of lifesteal. Devour. Holds power to trap the target in quicksand and draw them in for devouring. Yeah, 50 damage a second. An Aros is passive. While bleeding out, an Aros becomes entombed in a protective sarcophagus. He can revive himself by draining the life force from nearby enemies. You will see why this is a shitty passive. Shades, if you say anything about the Warframe that I am going to eventually get to, I will kill you. Sandstorm. That's actually pretty cool. I think it's a fun ability to use. It's garbage, but it's funny because it just sends people flying. It's useless, though. Scarab Swarm. I still don't really know what this is. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what Scarab Storm does. You lose a bunch of your HP to discharge blast with the Scarab Storm. Survivors have their health drained and bestowed on allies. It's a healing thing, but it's an 8-meter radius, so it's not really that much of a healing. Yeah, no, all of his abilities, like, you know how I was talking about, oh yeah, you know, one of Frost's abilities are useless, one of them, yeah, no, his are just bad. And Aros' abilities are just bad. Every Warframe has a better ability in one way or another. Excalibur has a better blind. I don't even really know what the purpose of this one is because it barely does any damage. Necros has a better summon. Trinity has a better heal. Frost has a better crowd control. Zephyr's Tornado is literally just a better version of that. And Scarab Swarm is just a heal, essentially. And again, Trinity. I fucking told you, bitch. Fuck you. So Naros gets D tier. Yeah. I was, or sorry, not even D tier. He gets F tier. I was not playing those games. He is a useless Warframe. And now we get to Jellyfish. Yeah, fuck you, Shades, you douche canoe. Even though it's still showing up at the top right. I know it is, but whatever. Ivara. Prowl is cool. It's good for loot. It's a good loot ability. Navigator just seems like a fun ability to use because then you can, like, you navigate the arrows, you know, you get a damage multiplier. Quiver, cycle through and shoot 1 of 4 tactical arrows. It's cool. If I remember correctly as well, there's Dash Wire, which is just you make your own zip line. Artemis Bow isn't the best exalted weapon, but it's not bad. It's a better version of the Ceranos. So if you like the Ceranos, you'll enjoy the Artemis Bow. Unfortunately, however, again, this is a problem with a lot of these Warframes. She's not really super powerful. I wouldn't say that she's on par with Geyer, Gara, Ember, Baruch, and Frost. Granted, Frost is totally just my bias, and I do not care. She gets B tier. Because I can't wholeheartedly be like, yeah, no, dog, Ivar's on par with Geyer, and Gara, and Frost, and Ember, and Baruch. And I certainly can't say, oh yeah, no, Ivar is as strong as Grendel, Equinox, and Gauss. I just can't do that, right? I can't. I wish I could, but I cannot. Who's next? We got Korra. Ew. Korra. And then Lavos and then Limbo. Haha. Fuck you, Korra mans. She got nerfed. Anyway, sorry. Venari's useless. Although you could have 2 pet cats, which is kind of cool. Whip Claw's overpowered. But now it doesn't go through walls, so there goes everybody's looting problem. Pilfering Strangledome, pop your 4, pop your 1, spam your 1, keep hitting your 1, keep hitting your 1, keep hitting your 1, get your red crits, haha, there's your big damage numbers. Venari's useless, and Snare's pretty good. And Snare's actually really good. It's actually one of the better crowd control abilities in the game. And also the fact that it's the zoomed ability, actually really good. But again, I'm not, you know, I can't. She used to be up here. She used to be S tier. She used to be that powerful. And then she got nerfed. And then she got nerfed. And then I just don't like her. Yeah, I don't think she was nerfed 3 times. I'm gonna put Korra in C tier because of how heavily you have to rely on, again, your melee. Most people aren't going to have stat sticks this early into the game, because keep in mind I'm basing this off of early game. Like, sure, if we're basing it fully off early game, oh yes, Inaros, but Inaros has no damaging based abilities, and players rely on those things. Not good Warframe. Not good Warframe. Ooh, this is an interesting little Warframe. Only Warframe like this as well. Lavos. Energy and universal orbs give Lavos status immunity for 10 seconds. Hold any ability to imbue the next cast with additional elemental damage and status. But what does that mean? I hold 1, I can get in Toxin. I hold 2, I can add that Toxin with Cold. I hold 3, I can do Electricity and Fire if I hold down 4. So I can make Viral, I can make Radiation, I can make Magnetic. It all depends on the enemy that I'm fighting. It's actually a very, very interesting passive that I quite enjoy because it's very unique. Vile Rush, I just genuinely love. It's a garbage ability, but it's fun to use because you have all that stuff. Transmutation Probe, really good. Really, really good. Because it turns everything into universal-based abilities. Cataclysm is super fucking powerful. And as you see, everything's on a timer for Lavos. This reduces the cooldown timer of everything, so you'd really want to use Ophidian Bite, then Vile Rush, then Cataclysm, and then Transmutation Probe to hit everybody with it. So then you can use Cataclysm again to do this big old nuke. Essentially, you're playing League of Legends. Again, Lavos, not really that powerful of a Warframe, but he's fun, and honestly, if we're basing it off of new players and what they enjoy, you don't really have to do energy management. So I'm gonna put, really he's more of like an A-, but we'll just keep him at the end to remind us Lavos is in fact not that powerful, but he's okay. We're just gonna get this one off the docket as well. Limbo. Now, if we're talking about fashion frame, Limbo gets S tier, easy, done. Move on with our days. Goddamn, does Limbo Prime look good. However, Limbo is not really the best Warframe. He is invincible, and he cannot die. However, that's only if you're in the Rift. Why am I yelling so much? What the fuck? And if you're in the Rift, you can't take damage. And unless other enemies are in the Rift, which you use with Banish, Stasis freezes them, which is really powerful. Rift Surge surges nearby Rift-bound enemies with a Rift energy when killing them. Transfer to a nearby enemy outside the Rift. Surge enemies that leave the Rift perform a radial banish, being that. And then Cataclysm. Violent Blast, Void energy tears open a pocket in the Rift plane, which can sustain itself for a short period before collapsing into another lethal blast. Very powerful. I know a bunch of people who would run range negative duration builds on Cataclysm just to nuke areas. Very good for nuking low levels, but he's not really that powerful, to be honest. He's not weak. He's just better, so he gets B tier. Honestly, this is just how it works. Oh wow, we finally reached Loki. Where the fuck is Loki? There we go. There's Loki. Fuck, I keep yawning. What the fuck? Okay, Loki. Able to hang from walls 10 times longer than normal. Ridiculous, should not be a passive. 10 is a little bit ridiculous. Please give us 100. Decoy. Useless ability, to be honest. Draws fire, but it doesn't draw all the fire. It's pretty useless. Invisibility, you go invisible. It's a stronger version of Smokescreen from Ash, and it also lasts longer. Switch teleport, like Ash's teleport, but instead you swap places and they get confused, which is valid. If I were switch teleported, I also get confused. Thanks, commanders. Assholes. Radial Disarm. Actually really good. Gets rid of all weapons, and everybody starts melee. One of the greatest crowd control abilities in the game. Because if you're not getting shot, and you're getting slapped instead, it's a lot easier to manage. And solely for Radial Disarm, with all the other abilities, I just give him a B tier. But because of Radial Disarm, I'm going to bump him up to A tier, because goddamn is it that good of an ability. I love Radial Disarm. If you're ever doing Kuva survivals, you need a Loki, high range, high efficiency, spam Radial Disarm, and then you just get as many Kuva harvesters as you like. There's your fun fact for the day. One of the grossest looking primes because of the helmet, everything else looks fantastic. Mag Prime. Passive, nearby enemy items gravitate towards Mag for easy collection. Pretty much just looter or vacuum or fetch, but passive. Pool, honestly, is a lot stronger because now in the video there, it like blasts them past Mag. It got buffed. Pool now brings enemies in front of Mag instead of past Mag. Magnetize has always been powerful. That big old bubble absorbs damage, goes boom boom, everything around it dies. Polarize gets rid of shields, gets rid of armor. Nearby polarized shards, orbit Mag, cut enemies, inflicting bleed. Crush, magnetize the bones of nearby enemies, causing them to collapse upon themselves, which sounds very painful after reading that description, and has a very weird damage of 266.67. That's a very... Why is it 266.7? What? Whatever. Very powerful Warframe. Not the strongest. Can't give her S tier as much as I would love to, because Mag was my first Warframe. Can't put her in B tier because she's too strong and doesn't really fit in with these guys. She gets A tier. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 20 more Warframes to go. Goddamn. Mesa. Also another fantastic looking prime. However, I do in fact like one of her skins more, which I have on console, which I really just, please get cross save. I want the skin back, DE. The Mesa Devil Ranger. God, I love this skin for no reason. Don't know why, but I love it. Oh, and there goes the abilities. Oh, bye-bye, Mesa abilities. Looks like Mesa gets F tier, doesn't have any abilities. Mesa. Passive, shoots dual-wield sidearms 15% faster, reloads single-handed firearms 25% faster. Gain 50 bonus health when not using a melee weapon, which is really fucking weird, but she doesn't like melees, I guess. Ballistic Battery. Activated, power stores damage caused by guns. When triggered again, the damage is channeled through the next gunshot. 100% damage. Goes up to like 400. Pretty powerful ability, honestly. Quite enjoy it. Shooting Gallery gives allies extra damage while jamming the guns of nearby enemies. This power shifts between team members. She also has an ass. Sorry, I just saw it. I had to. Shatter Shield. 50% damage reduction. Blasts back the shots. Pretty powerful. Peacemakers. You stand still and you have auto aim. Yeah. Fun little 4. Mesa is a fantastic damage-based Warframe. She is very easy to play. She has crowd control. She has tanking capabilities. She has damage buffs, and she has peacemakers. F tier. Just kidding. She gets S. She is very, very powerful. And a very reliable Warframe. Mirage. Honestly, one of my favorite looking Warframes. To be honest, one of my favorites. Akbolto Prime suck though, don't use them. My finger starts fucking cramping. I can't put Mesa into A tier without looking at it and being like, nah, Mesa does enough damage, has enough tank capabilities and crowd control capabilities to be S tier. She is powerful enough to be S tier. I just don't run Mesa Waltz though, because I enjoy standstill Mesa, because when you get the animations of her like fucking boom 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 boom, looks a lot better as I slam my hand up against my desk. Passive. Sliding lasts 85% faster. Acrobatic maneuvers are 50% faster. Not really much. You move a little faster. Hall of Mirrors. You get 4 decoys. 2 of them shoot at a time. Yes, they deal damage. No, it's not a lot of percent of damage. Hall of Mirror or Hall of Malevolence will give you 50% bonus, and I think you can get that the normal damage up to 50%, which gives you 100% damage, so then they deal 100% of your damage. Sleight of Hand. Booby trap nearby objects while conjuring an irresistible jewel that bursts into radio blind. Or radial explosion in the light. And you summon multiple if you have Hall of Mirrors. I don't personally like Sleight of Hand. That's a me thing. Some people do. I'm not one of them. That is the subsume slot. Eclipse. Standing in the light, deals heavy damage. Shadows. Damage reduction. Very powerful ability. And apparently there's like settings that you can play with. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna fuck with my lighting settings just to get a little bit more out of Eclipse. If I get damage reduction, okay. If I get damage increase, alright, that's good too. I don't really care. I'm playing the Warframe, whatever. Prism. Really powerful ability, actually. Really, really good if you have Prism Guard, which is one of her, another one of her augments. I like how I brought up like 2 of her augments, and the Sleight of Hand one I just went straight over, but you know what? If you want to look at it, Sleight of Hand, augment, Mirage. Go Google. I don't really want to get deep into augments. Prism Guard makes Sanctuary Onslaught a joke, because then that prism, instead of going forward, follows you, and has a duration that is a little shorter, but it's nice, honestly. It's a really, really good augment. Mirage, I can't give S tier, because if you notice, all these Warframes either have ridiculous killing capabilities, Equinox and Mesa, and all of them have ridiculous killing abilities that are above everyone else, or they're tanky, like Mesa, Gauss, and Grendel. Equinox isn't, but Equinox has really good crowd control. So where would I put him? Mirage is getting A. hold on. I don't want to fuck up this Necros one because I know there was a new augment added, and I wasn't able to play him with this new augment. So give me like 20 seconds to find this augment. Is it still Meridian?
Do augments even matter though? Because you're going to take one early. Augments are something that's probably first.
I mean, yes, however, he's on a down. Weird. I guess it wasn't a new augment. Whatever. I know that apparently there was something that you could do with Necros to make him nigh on invincible. I never got to use it, and I'm a little upset about it. Necros is easily not A tier. Soul Punch is cool. Terrify strips armor, which is really powerful. Shadows of the Dead is really good. Desecrate is really fucking good. His passive, restore 5 health with every enemy with death within 10 meters, so you have passive healing. So if you really wanted to get spicy, you could probably get rid of Soul Punch, replace it with something like Gloom, or really anything that'll slow them down or give you some tankiness capabilities, and easily you are good to go. So this is actually probably one of the easiest ones to rank. Right? Like, Necros is a very easy Warframe to rank. Because Necros is kind of like Hydroid. Except Necros actually has abilities that are useful. Yeah. He gets A tier. I cannot say that he's B tier, because he is just, he's stronger than fucking Hydroid. I can't look at you and be like, yeah, Necros gets B tier with Hydroid. I can't. I just fucking can't. Okay? I can't. Who is next? We have Nezha. Actually really like Nezha. Nezha, for those of you who are unaware, was actually one of my most played Warframes. When his Prime came out, it's one of the only Prime packs that I bought. It's not the only set that I have, like where I have the weapon and the melee. I also have Octavia's Tenora and Pandero Prime, and then Octavia Prime, of course. I give him A. Divine Spears is cool, but it's duration based. That's also duration based. Blazing Chakram is also duration based. Warding Halo is really good, right? Build for strength. Get rid of Divine Spears. Put on literally. Honestly, I would recommend Gloom, but Gloom is just a general fucking consensus. If we're not counting that, literally just pop your 3 and use Blazing Chakram to get rid of armor of Krynir. Use Firewalker to goof around, to have a little bit more movement speed. Divine Spears is a little bit of crowd control. I can't give him S tier again, because he's not on par with these Warframes. I can't put him in B tier because he's stronger than these Warframes. And gets A tier. Just because that's about where he sits. And then we get to Nidus. Nidus Prime looks stupid. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I mean, he is a dumb-looking Warframe. He is also not S tier, because you have to build up stacks. Parasitic Link is really powerful as a tanking ability, but it's not the best. Ravenous is really good for healing and a little bit of crowd control. Larva's really fucking good for crowd control, and Virulence just does a lot of damage. Like, it's not... He's a good Warframe, but there's not much to say about him. Also, his passive, if you have 15 stacks of the stuff, or 15 stacks of Infestation, then he kind of just doesn't die. He just comes back and consumes 15 stacks. So theoretically, he could be invincible. On paper, he's not invincible, and he gets A tier, because he's not invincible. And notice how this is really distributed. Most of these Warframes, you could argue, are A tier. You could argue that every single one of these S tier Warframes are A tier. You could argue all these B tier Warframes are A tier. You could argue that some of these C tiers are A tier. You can't really argue that Inaros is A tier. You can't really argue that Chroma's A tier anymore. But every other Warframe, you could put in a hearty argument that they are A tier. And that's what I want you to notice here. While I am simplifying, for those of you who enjoy looking at Warframe tier lists and tier lists to base off what you play, all these Warframes could be thrown in A tier. These Warframes are not as unbalanced as most players will make you seem to think. There are stronger, there are weaker, but it's not like if, let's say, Alex decides to play Titania. Whoa, that was weird. And I decided to play Frost. If Alex's aim were actually decent, full offense intended, by the way, Alex.
Curse you.
We could be on the same damage. And in fact, we actually figured that out.
Yeah, when you freaking took over my account.
Yeah, because he wanted to try Wisp, and I wanted to play Titania. And I'm like, you know what, I want to try your Titania build. And he's like, alright, let me try yours. And we figured out that our skill, or our builds are on par with each other. And I'm out here using Frost, Wisp, and all these powerful dudes, and he's using Titania. I was able to keep up with my own damage. In fact, actually, I got about the same damage distribution that Alex would normally have, or me and Alex would normally have, which is about a 90 to 10. Alex's aim is pretty bad. So don't ever let someone sit here, look you in the eyes, and say, this Warframe is bad. Because chances are the Warframe's not. The person's just an asshole. So let's get to Nova Prime. When knocked over, made a 6-meter defensive burst that topples attacking enemies. Good little crowd control. It's not the Warframe, it's me. Null Star creates antimatter particles that orbit Nova and seek out enemies, and each active particle gives 5% damage reduction to Nova's health, stacking up to 90%. Gives you good defense. Antimatter drop, really good damage. Shoot it, does more damage. Wormhole, it's just a teleporter. I really don't know what to tell you here. It teleports. Molecular Prime. Primes all enemies in the radius with volatile antimatter. If you go with negative strength, it'll actually speed them up, which is really good at times. You go with positive strength, it'll slow them down and make them go boom boom. Okay? Okay. Nova. Very powerful Warframe. Unfortunately, I can't give her S tier because she just is too squishy. She gets A tier. Okay. Let's what are the next few Warframes? Alright, it's time for a speed round, boys. So the next Warframe, Nyx. Nyx looks like a xenomorph. It's fucking badass. Mind control, psychic bolts, force bolts, using telekinesis to adjust flight paths and ignore by targets, gets rid of defense, slows them down. Chaos, honestly really good ability, makes everybody shoot each other. Absorb, it's like Mags magnetize, except instead you are the magnetized bubble. Passive enemies are 20% less accurate. Very weird passive. Honestly, Nyx, not that bad of a Warframe. Can't give her D tier because she's actually decent. Can't give her C tier because she's actually decent. She gets C tier because she's just decent. I lied. After thinking about it for a split second, she gets C tier because there's better. Oberon. Let's see. Oberon, one of my least favorite looking Warframes, but has one of my favorite melees as a prime. Passive allied pets receive 25% health link, armor link, and shield link from Oberon. In addition, your pet receives an instant revive permission. Smite. Yeah, you just hit people with radiation. It's kind of fucking badass, actually. Hallowed Grounds sanctifies the ground before Oberon, with righteous fire. For some odd reason, it's green, inflicting damage to any enemies that stand on the flames. Apparently, the flames do radiation damage. Very strange. Not that bad of an ability. Also very good for crowd control because it's radiation, so the enemies will be attacking each other. Renewal, healing waves of energy flow outward from Oberon to his allies, regenerating health. It's a buff. Gives armor. Gives health. Slows your Bleed Out gives you 50 health, and then you get passive health a second as well. Reckoning. Quickly lift enemies into the air and then hurl them down. And with conviction, enemies who succumb to this power have a chance to spawn a health orb. Radiation, again, good for... One, it's got armor reduction. I actually didn't know that. And it blinds them? Neat. Blinds them, health drops. Honestly, Oberon, not the best. I give them B tier. We'll get to the A tiers eventually. The A tier supports. S tier supports eventually too. Not saying it. If you know who it is, you know who it is. Octavia. Man, I love Octavia. She's so fucking boring though. Replenish 30 energy over 30 seconds for Octavia and allies within 50 meters when abilities are activated. So 1 energy a second. Mallet, fantastic ability, can deal the most damage in the game. Resonator, garbage ability, just subsume it. It picks up the mallet and becomes a hazard to you. Because then enemies start moving a lot and they start not shooting where you want them to shoot. You can use mallet as a bait. Metronome, permanent invisibility, just spam crouch, shoot for multi-shot, melee for a damage buff. Amp increases damage by a percentage and multiplies the range of mallet by double. Fantastic ability, kind of overpowered. I'm not going to go deep into Octavia. If you know Octavia, you know Octavia. And that she's S tier. She is that fucking powerful. Alright. Speed round's gonna end with this Warframe, however. So we are going to slow down the talking speed and talk about... Where the fuck is she? Protea. So you guys know the engineer from TF2, right? Because that's who the fuck Protea is. Right, ready for any eventuality, the versatile Protea uses many gadgets to overcome the odds. She throws balls, called Grenade Fan. If you tap it, Shrapnel Vortex. If you hold it, you get shields, and it's actually a lot of shields too. It's like a ridiculous amount of shields. And fun fact, in the options, you can make it to where it's inverse. So instead, you tap to do shield satellites and hold to do shrapnel. I learned that recently. Passive, every 4th ability cast is granted 100% ability strength. Really powerful. Blaze Artillery, surprisingly strong, actually. It holds up. I enjoy it, honestly. I genuinely enjoy Blaze Artillery. Dispensary, fantastic ability. Drops health, ammo, and energy, and sometimes drops 2. And then Temporal Anchor, it's cheers, love for the cavalry's here, because you go back in time. That's a total shtick. Go back in time. You place an anchor, go forward, go back in time, you regain all lost resources, but if you gain energy, you also lose your energy. And if you die, you get launched down like that. Protea, certainly not an S tier. Honestly, she's A tier. And S tier. Let's get into Revenant. Woo! Revenant! Ah! Bumpin' ass looking Warframe though. Revenant Prime is a fucking gorgeous looking Warframe, and I love him. And that's why I use Revenant Mephisto skin. Got him! Dance Macabre, surprisingly powerful. I was expecting less damage out of this ability, to be honest. It does pretty good now. Reeve, quick heal. Another yawn, god damn it. It's yawns every like 7 this stream. How long has it been going on for? 7 yawns in an hour time. Of course. This is why Revenant gets S tier. It's Mesmer skin. It is literally just invincibility. Like, not anything like, oh man, look at this invincible build. No, he is literally just fucking invincible with Mesmer skin. He takes 0 damage. Once you see all your charges are gone, just pop the fucking ability again and you have it back. It is ridiculous. And Thrall, I just like having little homies. I'm gonna be real with you. I like having little homies. Alright? His passive shield depletion smashes enemies within 7.5 meters with 100 damage, knockdown, shockwave. Not going into Revenant anymore. Why does my phone keep on buzzing? Oh, I was attacked. Oh well, I'm streaming. I'll deal with that later. Rhino. So I gave my opinions on Rhino in my last stream. he gets B tier. A tier. I'll give him A tier. Because Roar and Iron Skin are really good. Rhino Charge and Rhino Stomp are not. Very good Warframe. You get invincibility. You get damage buff. You have a low charge where you deal damage. And you have a Rhino Stomp, which is a little bit of crowd control. I believe he's not bad. He's not this overpowered Warframe. He's A tier. I'll give him an A tier. Saren. This is where I can piss off a lot of people or make a lot of people happy. Ooh. Risk it for biscuit. God damn it. Passive status effects inflicted upon enemies last 25% longer. Really good status effect. Spores. Place it on one dude. Spreads to other people like an infection. Damage will increase slightly longer it lasts, but it'll also decay eventually if it doesn't have anybody infected. Molt. Increase speed. Buff. Damage. Toxic Lash. Honestly really good. Additional toxic damage. And it's doubled for melee strikes. Instantly burst spores when attacking inflicted enemies. Really powerful, actually. Very good buff, and it also works on teammates if I remember correctly. Miasma. Release a poisonous miasma that deals viral damage to enemies in range. Foes afflicted by spores are more susceptible to the mist. Not that good of an ability, honestly. Normally, you just want to murder people, normally, instead of using miasma. Which is what people normally do, is they subsume my miasma and put in something else to increase their killing potential. So really anything above A tier is where Saren could go, like S or A. I'm gonna put him in S. Solely because it's, yeah, she's S tier. Sevi Boy. So yeah, I'm pretty sure she's also S tier on the official tier list. I don't like her, but I respect her. Sevi Boy. Look at that man screaming. I'm going to come out and say it, he's A tier. Solely for his passive. On death, becomes Sevigoth Shadow and fight to resurrect him by collecting the souls needed to rebuild his tombstone. Sound familiar? Damn straight, because it's a better version of Inaros' passive. You kill people with it, it does more damage than Inaros' little shitty tomb laser, and it's scary as shit. And it's golden. Gotta love his passive. His one, Reap, Shadow flies outward, does a little damage in a radius. So, plant Death Seed in nearby targets during their life force. Reap then has the zone detonate afflicted enemies. Gloom, summon a radial pulse wave, slows them down, gives you life steal. Exalted Shadow, then you have a bunch of abilities for Shadow. One of them pulls them towards you, one of them is a dash forward, one of them just goes back to Sevigoth. It's a good ability. It's a good ability. But I can't remember everything off the top of the head, and it doesn't tell you everything. And solely for that fact, he gets F tier. Come on, DE. You can do better than that. Just kidding, of course. A tier. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. So after Sevigoth... Hold on. Comes Styanax. That's weird. I wonder why he's... Oh, because Styanax, Verona, Citrine. That's what I forgot to do. Let's do the last, or the newest three. Sorry about that, boys. I thought something felt off. Styanax. Styanax ever wonders how many enemies he'll face, only where he can find them. Yet he is about a B tier Warframe, especially after they nerfed Final Stand. I personally do not like him. He does have defense reduction, which is really powerful. His 1 is okay. His 3 is okay. His 4 is okay. Critical chance increases with his shields and doubles for spear guns. It's cool. He's... I had him, I maxed him out, and he's very forgettable. And for that fact, I'm going to actually give him C tier. Baruna. Alrighty, Varuna. Honestly, not the best Warframe in the game. Very unique Warframe. I'm going to give her A tier. Because her 4 is practically useless. I fucking hate her 4. Lyca's Hunt is amazing. Fangs of Cash takes so much management, it actually kind of pisses me off. And Shrouds of Dynar's mid, at best. Yeah. She gets B tier. And then Citrine. Alright, you know what, let's just put her fucking up there. Alright, let's just put her up there. Okay. Citrine. Her 4 can make everything deal a massive amount of damage. It is Harrow's 4, but more teammate friendly. Her 3 deploys a gem that shoots prismatic beams that target enemies that are taking weapon damage from Citrine and her allies. Inflicts heat, cold, all status effects. It's pretty powerful. Persevering Shell, I can hear that, Alex. Citrine guards herself and nearby allies with a crystalline shell that gradually decays. Kills and assists increase the defensive power of the shell. Fractured Blast, slash and stagger enemies with a crystal blast that inflicts bleed. Enemies afflicted with the status effect have an increased chance of dropping health and energy orbs. Her passive grants allies 5 health regen per second. Pick up a health orb to increase the health regen by 0.1 up to a maximum of 25. That is 25 health a second. That is fucking ridiculous. Citrine is ridiculously powerful. Okay, so she gets S tier. Alright, now that we got the 3 newest done. Hate this Warframe. God damn it. Anyways. Titania. Passive, generates health for herself and nearby allies after she casts an ability. Not that bad of an ability. Quite actually enjoy it. Her 1, fumble their weapons as they are whisked in the air. Nearby allies become immune to status effects. Hold the ability to cast the immunity onto Titania. Pretty good ability, actually. Pretty good status negation. Tribute. Cycle through and extract one of the 4 buffs. Terrible ability. We're not even going to talk about it. Thorns. You know, when you get hit, or reduces incoming damage, or degrades enemy accuracy. Full moon increases companion damage. Increase. Or slow enemy within range. Terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Lantern distracts enemies. Actually really powerful. And apparently they explode on command. Neat.
Yeah.
Razorwing turns every mission into a fucking Arcwing mission. But you have a bunch of drones that spawn with you. Therefore, makes it better than an Arcwing mission. As much as I want to piss off Alex, and genuinely put F tier Titania, Titania is not F tier. Titania is not D tier. She's not C tier. She's not B tier. She's A tier. She's got enough to where I can warrant putting her in A tier. She's Titania is playable. Fucking hate Titania. Wow, I haven't played Trinity on this account. Weird. Trinity is getting B tier before we even get deep into here. Well of Life gives life steal. Energy Vampire gives energy. Link, any damage taken while the link is active will be channeled to a nearby enemy. So instead of you taking damage, it's them. You take 50% damage. Blessing restores the health and shields of allies within Trinity's affinity aura and giving them some damage resistance. She gets B tier. I really don't know what else I can say. She is a pure support. She gets B tier. She's a pure support. I can't give her more than B tier. I'm sorry. I just fucking can't. She has 0 offensive abilities. She gets B tier. Valkyr Prime also gets B tier for a different reason. She really has 3 abilities and a Spider-Man ability. Ripline, you can fly around the map. Her passive, recover 50% faster from being knocked down, but if you're playing her right, you're not getting knocked down because you're always in Hysteria. Hysteria is really powerful, it just doesn't have much range, which is its problem. Paralysis, damage multiplier. That's all you need to know. And drains 33% of your shields, and knockback. Warcry, increase armor, increase speed, and decrease speed around you, or the enemies around you. She's not bad, but her 4 just doesn't have enough range to where I could put her in A. Because if I were to put her in A, it would mean that she's better than Excalibur. When she's not. I love Valkyr. She's not better than Excalibur. Vauban, though, I can wholeheartedly put into A tier. Vauban's not Excalibur, though, so, like, I don't know what to tell you other than, like, go fuck yourself. Right? Like, I love me some fucking Excalibur. I'm going to... Why is this so zoomed in? What the fuck? Hold on. Whoop. Whoop. There we go. That's better. So, Excalibur's not a good Warframe, not a bad Warframe, better than Valkyr, though. Vauban. One of the greatest crowd controls in the game, with Bastille and Vortex. Photon Strike and its augment is amazing, but even without the augment, Photon Strike is just really fun. Mind Layer is really good, as you can tether enemies, you can use the vector pads, you can overdrive yourself, or you can throw down the flechettes, which is really powerful. Tesla Nervos are low crowd control. Not very good crowd control, but it's a little bit of crowd control. Can't complain. And deal 25% damage to incapacitated enemies, which is caused by Bastille and Vortex. That's why Vauban gets A tier. I really can't go deep into why Vauban is the way that he is. But Vauban is A tier, okay? That's all that matters. Volt is getting A tier with Mag. Volt and Mag are better than Excalibur. Volt has speed, Volt has electrified shield, which gives you more damage. Volt has discharge, which is just massive fucking AoE that stuns. Shock, which is actually really good because it chains to other enemies. Ground movement generates an electrical charge building up to 10% or 10 damage per meter that is unleashed with the next attack, up to 1,000 unfortunately, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but as a noob it's actually quite nice. Speed just gives you more speed and reload speed, which is nice. Shock is good. Electrified shields, you can pick it up and then you can have your own little personal 50% more shock damage, and then some because of the fact that this is at rank 0. And then discharge is so fucking good. He easily gets A tier. And Whisk gets S tier. Now let's talk about it. Wisp. Oh my fucking god. Let's ignore Will-O-Wisp, Breath Surge, Soulgate, and her passive. Actually, let's not ignore her passive. If you're in the air, you're invisible with Wisp. Let's look at her first ability. Reservoirs. Choose and summon a reservoir filled with motes that attach to and aid Wisp and her allies. Haste motes grant increased movement speed and attack speed. Vitality increases maximum health and heals over time. Shock motes stun nearby enemies. Shock motes are a little mid. It's the haste and the vitality that get you. They're that powerful. Again, what the fuck? They are very powerful. You get so much fucking HP and health a second off of it. It is ridiculous. Especially if you build for strength. I do not know where my Wisp sits at for max health or health a second. All I know is it is ridiculously high. Will-O-the-Wisp, or Will-O-Wisp. Cast forward a spectral image to confuse and distract enemies. Reactivate trigger travel to its position. Hold to have the image travel farther and teleport. And you get a little bit of vulnerability after you teleport. Breach Surge. Open a dimensional breach to overwhelm nearby enemies and cause them to release aggressive surge sparks and damage. Wisp may also target a reservoir, develop toward to it, and double the range of the surge. It's that damage multiplier that scares you. You deal multiplied damage to them. I have popped off over 33 million damage with a mediocre weapon. With this thing. It is a ridiculous ability And Soul Gate's her weakest ability. It is just a laser. It's a mediocre laser. Okay? Easily S tier. And Wukong, you know, I might as well just put him in B tier. Let's talk about Wukong. Is one a Celestial Twin? You have a Celestial Twin that uses your melee. If you're using gun, uses your gun. If you're using melee, copies your entire moveset and including your mods. After taking fatal damage, uses one of his master survival techniques 3 times per mission, so literally when you die, you just don't die, you just come back. Cloudwalker evaporates into a cloud of mist and floats through the battlefield. Actually really good. It's really good for traveling. It's probably the fastest traveling method in the game. Defy. Wukong is when become invulnerable and defy enemies to attack. Then defy enemies to attack? What the fuck? Okay. All damage is captured, sword, and dealt back in a single furious strike. If Wukong's staff bonus armor is then granted relative to the damage captured. And then Primal Fury, summon the Iron Staff, and Unleash Fury. He is mediocre. He got nerfed. He's mediocre now. Who's after Wukong again? Zaku! Alright, yeah, I don't really know much about Zaku. I ain't even gonna fucking lie to you. I'm gonna just put him at 8A tier because I've seen players play him. I can't really tell you much. I'm dead serious. I can't tell you much on Zaku. Like, I could spit out of my ass and fake it. Zada's Whisper, wield void damage, it's just bonus damage. Grasp of Lock, steal enemies, and then you have a bunch of enemies or a bunch of guns shooting at enemies. The Lost, cycle through a trio of lost Warframe powers, accused to manifest a void fissure that corrupts enemies into allies, gaze grasps them in void tentacles, and the capture damage inflicted when released. Deny annihilates with a beam of void energy, wiping sentient resistances. And then 4, temporarily shed the outer piece of Zaku and the destructive blast and stalk the battlefield in the new swift skeletal form. Enemies damaged by the body shrapnel are rendered weaker to void damage. Zaku's other active abilities, durations, is frozen in time and resumes once the Vast on Time expires. So you just spam Vast on Time and then like all these last forever is essentially what goes on. Not actually that bad. Ooh! Time to piss people off. Let's Ureli. Ureli gains 200% critical chance for secondary weapons, which he's been moving for at least 1.5 seconds. Sea Snares, Merlina, Aqua Blades, Riptide. Sea Snares give you damage vulnerability towards the enemies and also crowd controls them. Merlina gives you 90% damage reduction and also gives you a little bit of time invulnerable. I don't use Merlina. I actually subsume her away, as much of a heretic move as it is. Aqua Blades gives you slash, and it's a little bit of bonus damage if you ever want to run a melee build. Yes, I've done it before. Yes, it's quite enjoyable. Riptide sucks them in, and then you could just, probably, suck them in, use Sea Snares a lot, shoot the fuck out of them while they're in the Riptide. There's your fun fact for the day. And then the damage increases by 50% per enemy, so during Steel Path it gets a little ridiculous. As much... I personally... Okay, let's talk this through here. I genuinely would believe that Ureli can get up to S tier because of how much time I have pumped into this Warframe and know how to play her. I also know damn well that she isn't D tier. I know damn well she isn't C tier or B tier. Because she is better than Atlas, she is better than Excalibur, she is better than Garuda, she's better than Hera, better than Hildren, better than literally everybody in B tier. She's better than Zaku. She's on par with Volt, I would say. She's better than Vauban. She's better than Trinity. She's better than Sevi. She's on par with Rhino. She's better than Protea, better than Nova. She's better than most of the A tiers. But she's not better than Wisp. She's not better than Citrain. She's not better than Saren. She's not better than Revenant. She's not better than Octavia or Mesa or Gauss or Equinox or Grendel. And just to piss people off, I'm going to put Zephyr in B tier. Yeah, and here's why. So Ureli has damage vulnerability. She has a tank ability, sort of, but I got rid of it for a different tank ability being Gloom, but the methods stay the same. 200% crit chance for secondary weapons. Zephyr, 150% crit chance while airborne. to all the motherfuckers who sit here and say that Zephyr's passive is stronger than Ureli's, you are stupid. Zephyr's passive is not stronger than Ureli's. Zephyr's passive is less situational. Zephyr's passive is actually 50% weaker because it's only 150% critical hit chance with weapons. Zephyr, Tailwind, you go around and you fly, right? Dive bomb, Tailwind, it's okay. It's okay. Air burst, launch a burst of massively dense air, hold this in enemies flying, tap to pull them towards the burst, damage increases per enemy hit. Cool. Turbulence creates wind shield around Zephyr, redirecting all incoming projectiles. Quite powerful, quite nice if I'm being wholly honest. Not too bad. Tornado sucks enemies in, deals damage. It's quite nice. So why would I say that Zephyr is weaker? Why? That's because Zephyr is. I believe Ureli is stronger for one very powerful reason. Damage vulnerability is 200%. I have about, 60% strength. I have multi-augmented, which gives me another 60% strength. That is 320% damage vulnerability caused by sea snares. That is a 95% slow. That is about 1,500 damage a second off of Aqua Blades. And that is about 5,000, 6,000 damage, and then another 1,100 damage a second on Riptide. Ureli is stronger than people assume. It's just that her launch was so bad, nobody wants to talk about it. There is my tier list. Until the next major update when we have new Warframes, people are changed and all that jazz. Okay? I am a firm believer that Ureli is actually S tier. But she's not. I wish she was. But she's not. So I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Deuces. Have a good one. And get hyped for Duviri. Because God knows we're all going to be enjoying it. Deuces. Have a good one.